IT leadership expertise. He is now a group CIO at Sasol and in charge of both IT and digital. Lungile, Mginqi, everyone.
What really makes me excited speaking into this big room full of beautiful faces, including those watching from the online, is the fact that young people represent possibilities. You represent ideas. You represent that which we need to put all the ingredients together to create something much more bigger than those ingredients. Today, I am speaking about a day in the life of a group CIO. First, what is a group CIO? A group CIO is responsible for all of the technology, IT, operational technology that happen in a large company. The company in question today is Sasol. The way you now think about the group CIO is that when something wrong with IT happens in China or in Houston or in Hamburg, it's my problem. But when something good happens in China, Houston, it's their reward. So I take care of the responsibility and allow my people to execute. The organization that is Sasol has about 2,000 people that work in IT. So I'm responsible to make sure that those people have the right environment to do what we have employed them to do. But let's first start with my motto. Finish what you start to leave it a little bit better than you found it. There's a picture of mine there, but let's not focus on that. If we move to where I come from, to getting to where I am, so I'm a rural boy that grew up in some huge rural areas where there were like 1,500 people in that place. The reason I wanted to leave that place is because everybody knew my name. So I made sure that I leave that place because everybody knew my name, and then I can come visit. So that's my journey in terms of how I have traversed. It was nice speaking to the professor because I'm also a qualified, not a qualified engineer, a university graduate engineer, which is different from being a professional engineer. So that's my journey until I became responsible for Sasol. But as I was conceptualizing this subject of a day in the life of the group CIO, I just had to think back and say, how do I think about the job that I do? And I think about it only in 3 measures. Firstly, it's a leadership role. Second, I think about it as a performance management role. I think as a people enablement role. So those for me will be the 3 most important things that if you are thinking about it, you have to focus on. So I made sure that in each and every day, I start the day with a very short prayer. What is it that I can do today? That if I were to do that thing, it will make the life of Sasol so easier. And a lot of other things are necessary within the IT organization. So that's my initial focus. Then I have to look in terms of what are the things that Sasol is trying to do. So I normally I like our purpose, innovating for a better world. And then I like thinking through what's the role of IT in enabling that. And then I go slowly into what, therefore, are the three things that I need to do this year. I like to think about what we do within a year. Because the problem is that if you put too many things to do, you do very little. So you can see that in the year that has just ended, there were just three things that within my organization, I said we needed to do in order to enable the strategy that we are driving. First, we needed to enable the digital and the IT talent through focused competency assessment, skills, capacity gaps, and doing all of that about the culture. Secondly, protect the organization. And thirdly, generate that digital value to make sure that we are growing the organization in the right way. So from a day in the life, I also like to look at this thing that I'm showing you today at least once a day. And I like that to be early morning because it grounds me in terms of what is it that I should be spending my time in that day in order to achieve the objectives that the organization has set for my team that I've agreed to drive. So in each and every day, if I don't have a meeting that addresses at least one of those three things that I said are important, my day is not being spent appropriately. I like to play. So one thing to make sure that my team is focused, I play some games. I do like taking my exco to watch the Big Five. So in each and every of the Big Five, we've aligned in terms of what is it that we're doing. So if there's something as important as something that my team does not want to talk about, something called cost reduction, IT people don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about growth, cost increase. I call that the elephant in the room. That enables me to have the right language in order to make sure that the elephant in the room is not only used in a serious manner, and therefore I'm very clear in terms of focusing on cost reduction or pivoting the ways we work in IT in order to come up with a better cost element is very important. So I really focus on the Big Five. So each and every year, I have a Big Five. But one of the most important things I have found that culture in the ways of working is almost the glue that gets the wheels running in a large organization. So I am very focused on getting my team to understand what our focus of behavior, what are the focus of our critical behavior this year. So last year, our focus was very much on proactive collaboration to make sure that globally we were collaborating in the right way. And we feel that we focus on value. We are always focused on the 6 top IM critical behaviors, but we normally just take one in each year and bias it. So this year, the one that we decided to bias it a little bit more is the one called data mindful. We have found that we have developed a culture within the organization where we could incorporate data-driven decision-making process much more aggressively. And we could be asking ourselves more important questions when we make important decisions about data, about making sure that the data is in the right place. I think when you then start to say, we are looking at this CIO Day in the life. You saw at the beginning, I presented those three things around leadership, around performance, and people. Because if I can do all of those things, then I will have enabled the organization. But something more important for me is to always have this 360 view of where am I deploying my team to get the value that I require. So very important to me to look at the stakeholder, very important to me to look at the financials and all the things that I have thrown up into the picture that I have shown you. But I think what is important for me is where I started this conversation for you. I said, you are the young people. You represent the possibilities. You represent the ideas in terms of what the future could look like. So now, whenever I talk to young people, I really like to talk to young people about the career choices that they have. I normally tell them that, look, I don't know what you're good at, young person, but my equation, if I don't have enough information for you, I will say that you need to target to do something that you will be able to rise right to the top of that food chain, irrespective of what that food chain is. So you don't have to focus on this, on that. You just have to focus on yourself in terms of what is it that I can be the world beater on. Then if I can figure out, because the world is so competitive, if I can figure out that my competitive advantage is in science, my competitive advantage is in teaching as a professor, my competitive advantage is in art, my competitive advantage is in technology, then as a young person, I owe it to myself, because I said, when you are this age, all you are an idea that has not yet been formed. So you can use that. So that's the only thing I want to leave you with today, is that when you think about what you do, can you just add this dimension of saying, what is it that if I were to do it, I'll be among the world best? And that's how you choose what you need to do. Now, in concluding, what I was talking about here was about what are the key takeaways for leadership? What are the key takeaways for performance? What are the key takeaways for people? So what is important for me on leadership is that leadership is not management. Leadership ought to inspire people to do more than what the manager had asked them to do. So which means as a leader, my role is to complement. My role is to recognize. My role is to expand those corners where I feel that a person could do better in order for that person to be a little bit inspired so that he can do more while I am not there. So that's the key takeaway for me on leadership, is that leadership is not management. Leadership has to inspire. My role as a group CIO is to make sure that I inspire my people that work for me. They must be able to choose me as a person that they want to follow. They must not follow me because I've been put into this leadership position. On performance, what is important for me on performance is that what gets measured gets done. The little you measure, the more you do. The little you do, the more you are able to create even a bigger impact. You saw on that picture, I said, I focus my organization on just doing 3 things a year. 3 things. Measure those things, talk about those things, inspire people to do more on those things. The last point is on people. So a leader, a group CIO, needs to be very focused on how to lead the people, how to create an environment where people can speak up, how to create an environment where I'm able to tap into the talent of what I have. So that's why I'm ending up with the fact that people matter. Thank you very much.